Good morning and welcome to the June 29th Assembly Appropriations Committee hearing. Noting the absence of a quorum, we're going to begin as a subcommittee, and I believe we'll start with Mr. Monning. We'll be presenting on SB 1016. It's a candidate for suspense.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. I know this is a candidate for suspense. Have some brief comments. SB 1016 will extend the sunset date of California's determinate sentencing statutes until January 1st, 2022. In 2007, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in the Cunningham decision that portions of California's determinate sentencing statutes were unconstitutional. The legislature responded by implementing Senate Bill 40, authored by then Senator Romero, which provided the courts with the discretion to sentence in the best interest of justice within certain categories. The sunset date for the determinate sentencing provisions in this bill has been extended 4 times through 4 different bills approved by this committee, and if the sunset date is not extended under this bill, California's determinate sentencing scheme will once again become unconstitutional. The analysis points out potential increased costs to the state if more defendants are sentenced at an upper term. But in the 10 years that the Cunningham fix has been in place, the courts have largely favored the middle or lower term of sentencing, potentially creating savings through shorter incarceration times. As this bill moves to suspense, I look forward to working with your staff to address any potential cost issues to ensure that California's sentencing statutes remain constitutional. Thank you, Madam Chair and members, and would respectfully ask for your aye vote at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Are there any witnesses in support? Witnesses?
Asha Harris on behalf of the California State Sheriff's Association in support.
Witnesses in opposition? Department of Finance?
We estimate no fiscal impact because it continues current practices.
Thank you, Mr. Monning.
Great, thank you. Have a good day.
Great, you too. Mr. Anderson, we're still waiting on a quorum, but you'll be presenting on SB 759. It enjoys a due pass recommendation when we get a quorum.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. This bill, authored both by Senator Hancock and I, we joint authored this bill. It repeals the provision in the law that makes inmates in secured housing units and other specified segregated units ineligible to earn release credits. You know, at the you may serve 10 or 15 or 25 years in the SHU. At the end of your term, you're going to be released into society. This bill recognizes that and gives them an opportunity to change their life. It allows them to take anger management classes, get their GED, and have a fighting chance to return to society. It's good for society because that person may have changed their ways. It's good for the inmate because it gives them a chance to change their heart and to become a productive citizen. The costs are limited to promulgating regulation, and it's possible general fund savings because those prisoners may not return to the same correctional facility. So this is an opportunity to save money by saving lives. I urge an aye vote.
Thank you, Senator. Are there witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? Department of Finance?
Chris Leaf, Department of Finance. No file.
Any questions? Mr. Quirk.
Just thank you very much for bringing this great bill forward.
I don't hear that often, so thank you for that wonderful comment.
Senator Anderson, I'm glad you came and I got to see this presentation because I think I looked at the bill 6 times to make sure you were really the author. No, in a good way. This is great. I really appreciate that that you took this issue on. It's an important issue, and that that you brought this forward. It, when we get quorum, enjoys a due pass recommendation, and we'll take the vote up then.
Thank you very much. I would just say that if you're thinking that you could lock somebody away and never return them to society, that would be a reason to vote no on this. But if you believe and acknowledge that these people are going to be returned to society when they fulfill their term in prison, then why wouldn't you want to give them a chance at redemption? I also have another bill, SB 1075. Would you like me to present that at this time?
I don't have that on my list
Okay.
of bills, so
Okay. Thank you very much.
you have
Thank
two
you for your
bills on
time.
consent. And we don't have that one. Thank you. Senator Pavley. Senator Pavley, you'll be presenting on SB 1089. When we get quorum, it enjoys a due pass with amendments to specify criteria for public members. You may proceed.
And just briefly, and since you don't have a quorum, this is about the Wildlife Conservation Board. For those of you who don't know, it's presently housed within the Department of Fish and Wildlife. We spend quite a bit of money on our collective behalf as a state, but it only has 3 members, and this is where it sort of becomes interesting. The 3 members on the WCB, the Wildlife Conservation Board, are the president of the Fish and Game Commission, the director of the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and the Department of Finance. All 3 are governor's appointments. There are no legislative appointments. In recent years, the WCB has been a state's leading agency for acquisition of resource and habitat lands, usually from park bonds and voter-approved initiatives. What this bill does is ask that there would be 2 public members on this commission. It would help establish a quorum. It's hard when you have 3 and someone's absent, creates some issues and problems. It allows for alternates being appointed for those 3 members, but it adds 2 public members for a total of 5 on the commission, 1 appointed by the Senate and 1 appointed by the Assembly. And your staff and yourself did a very good job in adding the criteria. If those are committee amendments, I certainly accept them. I think that we want people that are expert in the fields and the subject area, and some legislative oversight comes with this as well. So with that, I ask for your aye vote when you have a quorum.
Thank you. Are there any speakers in support? Speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
We estimate minor costs of about $4,000 a year.
Mr. Quirk?
Apart from the fact that it makes sense to add public members, I mean, is there any problem with the commission as it currently operates?
Sometimes they've had problems in being able to communicate with each other because 2 is a majority of the commission. It's created problems when there hasn't been an alternate for perhaps the Department of Finance. You have 2 from the same department on this commission, 1 from DGS. It's a little insular, so to speak. It's definitely controlled with the good work of the Fish and Wildlife as well as the director of the WCB. This is an important commission that we feel would benefit from having some independent outside expertise in the discussion.
Thank you.
Would you like to close?
Would appreciate your support for this measure when you get a quorum.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Dr. Pan? You'll be presenting on SB 977, enjoys a due pass recommendation once we get a quorum.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair, members. Today I'm proud to bring you a bill sponsored by the St. Elizabeth Ann Seton School 8th grade class in my district, although actually they're moving on to 9th grade by now. SB 977 is a measure that protects our state's youth and promotes public health by prohibiting the use of tobacco products within 250 feet of a youth sporting event, and makes a violation and infraction punishable by a fine of $250 per violation. The bill also stipulates it does not preempt the authority of a city or county to regulate the use of tobacco products around youth sports events, and that any city or county may enforce a related ordinance in place before January 1st, 2017, or may adopt a more restrictive ordinance after that date. This bill has minor non-reimbursable costs to cities and counties for enforcement that will be offset to some extent by revenues from fines. I would like to just briefly mention that certainly allowing the use of tobacco products near youth sports events encourages young people to take up smoking. 90% of adult smokers begin while they're teens or earlier, and 2/3 become regular daily smokers before they reach the age of 19. And tobacco use is the #1 cause of preventable death in the United States and around the world. In California, tobacco-related diseases claimed over 40,000 lives per year, and since it's a fiscal committee, cost taxpayers $18.1 billion annually, or $487 for each resident every year. Reducing the number of smokers will, in the long run, actually save California, including the state of California, money. So it's imperative we protect our youth and set an example by not allowing tobacco products near our youth sports. I respectfully ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there speakers in support?
Danielle Kando Kaiser on behalf of Common Sense Kids Action. We awarded this bill a star rating. We're in strong support. Thank you.
Any speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
No questions? All right. Would you like to close, Dr. Pan?
I respectfully ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
And we'll take it up once we have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Wynn, would you like to present? Are you?
I do. I just need to get my package. I just came in to sign this. Sorry.
We'll take it. Any senator who, oh, here we go. Thank you, Senator Wynn. I also want to point out for any appropriations member, we are still seeking a quorum. We're stuck at 10. It would be great if somebody showed up. Senator Wynn.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. I'm honored to present SB 896 this morning, which would require any nail salon that accepts a credit card as payments for services to also accept a credit card payment for a tip. For customers who frequent a salon that accepts credit card, they often do not carry cash with them because they assume that they will be able to leave a tip on the card. Under California laws, tips are the sole property of the employees, and they are a critical source of income for most technicians. If an establishment doesn't allow for tips to be made with a credit card, the technician may not be tipped. I amended the bill in the Senate to ensure that nail technicians will receive their entire tip. It is important for the owner to comply with the law that the nail technician is compensated for their work, even when the consumer pays by credit card. Requiring salons that allow clients to use a credit card to also leave a tip on that card would not only be more convenient for the client, but it will also ensure that technicians are appropriately compensated for their work. I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Are there any speakers in support? Speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
Any questions? I just want to thank you, obviously, for bringing this forward, and I've enjoyed working with you on these issues. We're going to ask that you just to do pass with an amendment to add a co-author, and
Will do.
So once we get a quorum, we'll take it up for a vote. Would you like to close?
I respectfully ask for your support. Thank you.
Senator Wachowski.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Senate Bill 1241 focuses on two of the worst kinds of clauses that can appear in a consumer or employment contract. The choice of venue that requires the consumer to go to arbitration.
Senator, I'm so sorry, but I'm worried if we don't call our roll now, we may lose our quorum.
Oh.
Can you just hold on for a second? Thank you.
There's still bad clauses, and I'm not going to change.
Gonzalez. Present. Bigelow. Present. Bloom. Here. Bonilla. Bonta. Yeah. Calderon. Here. Chang. Here. Daly. Here. Eggman.
They're both the same.
Gallagher. Here. Garcia. Hernandez. Here. Holden. Jones. Here. Openalte. Here. Quirk.
Here.
Santiago. Wagner. Here. Weber. Wood.
Thank you, Senator. Would you like to proceed?
So we got the venue clause that requires California consumers or employees to go to entirely different state to settle their arbitration. And with that here to support, I have Mariko Yashihara with the California Employment Lawyers and Savina Takar with the consumer attorneys. Ladies.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mariko Yoshihara with the California Employment Lawyers Association. In support of this bill, it simply prevents companies from trying to exempt themselves from California law or jurisdiction in California. It helps not only California employees and consumers, but also California businesses, which is why Small Business California supports it. It also helps save court resources because right now employees and consumers have to challenge these clauses in court. So this just streamlines it and allows them to void those clauses.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members. Savina Takar with the Consumer Attorneys of California in strong support. We align our comments with those of CELA. We think this is a common sense bill that ensures Californians are protected by California law. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional speakers in support? Speakers in opposition?
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. Jennifer Burr on behalf of the California Chamber of Commerce, and we are opposed to this bill for policy reasons. With regards to the fiscal costs, we do believe this will increase costs to the judicial system. This is not just limited to California employees or California consumers, but it is also expands the provisions to anybody who just comes into California for one day and has a dispute that arises here. So it's more expansive than just California consumers and employees, and to the extent that then those out of state residents will utilize California's court system to resolve their disputes when those disputes should be handled in other states. We believe it will actually increase costs to the judicial system as there will be more cases in our court system. With regards to those fiscal costs, we do believe it will cost the state. In addition to the policy reasons we've already addressed in policy committees, we are opposed. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Chris McKaylee on behalf of the Civil Justice Association of California. We share the Chamber's concerns and would note, as your analysis did, that the governor vetoed 5 years ago a very similar bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
We have a motion by Mr. Quirk, a second by Mr. Bloom. Would you like to close?
Yeah, just on the veto a couple of years ago, we changed the language from void to voidable to address the governor's concern. I urge and I vote.
Thank you, and that gets out on a B roll call. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Before we bring up the next senator, if we could get a motion on SB 759, moved by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Quirk. That gets out on a B roll call. SB 1089 by Senator Pavley. I need a motion.
Second.
Motion by Calderon, second by Quirk. That gets out on a B roll call. 977 by Dr. Pan.
Second.
Motion by Calderon, a second by Quirk. That gets out on a B roll call with Chang voting aye. And finally, SB 896 by Senator Nguyen.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, a second by Mr. Quirk, and that gets out with the bill passes with Republicans not voting, with Ms. Chang and Mr. Wagner voting aye. Great. Senator Bell. Senator Bell, you'll be presenting on SB 879. It's a suspense candidate. At your pleasure.
And Madam Chair and members, I'm presenting SB 879. Now, over the last year and a half, both the Senate and the Assembly have had hearings, especially the Senate Transportation and Housing Committee, had 3 informational hearings on housing and homelessness in California. We heard from academics, we heard from housing developers, advocates, housing experts, and our message could not be more clear. California is in an affordable housing crisis, and the state needs to take bold action to add to the housing stock in California. This bill, SB 879, the Affordable Housing Bond Act of 2016, will add to available housing stock available to homeless individuals, hardworking families with low and moderate incomes by investing $3 billion in new construction, rehabilitation, and preservation of housing. The Bond Act is modeled after Proposition 1C, which passed 10 years ago in 2006, which to date has generated 92,000 housing units. Since SB 879 seeks to invest in critical existing housing programs, including multiple family, CalHome, homeowner loans, transit-oriented development, and farm worker housing program. Investment in these programs also makes economic sense and will create jobs and benefit local communities. Now, in collaboration with California Housing Partnership Corporation, the California Carpenters analyzed the impact of this bill. Taken together with the additional $11 billion in $11 billion in leveraged financing, this bill will generate 147,000 jobs, more than $9 billion in labor income, $24.5 billion in economic activity, and $1.1 billion in additional local and state tax and fee revenue. The states directly and funded expenditures alone, just our investment, will generate $4.8 billion, nearly 1.6 times the amount of authorized by the bond, and produce almost 31,000 jobs, $1.8 billion in labor income in every region of the state. Additionally, investing in housing construction will actually save Californians money over time. According to our study by the Economic Roundtable, the estimated cost of the public permitting homelessness residents to remain homeless, and this is in Santa Clara County, so the numbers are similar. They did a similar study in Los Angeles and other places. To remain people homeless is $62,000 in government services. You have to do all the social services, all the criminal justice, the health services. It costs $62,000 per year per person annually. The estimated cost of housing is about $20,000 for the same population. A reduction, if we do a housing first policy, of $42,000 annually. The cost of housing in lower cost areas of California will be less, but the ratio is the same. So you have this investment in housing saves money in criminal justice, social services, and health care, especially in emergency kind of services. Another cost study in Los Angeles found that, for the county of Los Angeles, found that public costs are reduced by 79% when chronically homeless are housed, and 50% when the entire homeless population is housed. The bond bill will not on its own solve our deep housing crisis, but investment in these existing programs is a critical piece of our solution. The time for action is now. Respectfully ask your aye vote. We have witnesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Speakers in support.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members. Brian Augusta on behalf of the California Rural Legal Assistance Foundation and the California Coalition for Rural Housing in support of this measure. The Senator has done an excellent job of laying out how this investment would trigger additional private and federal investment in California in our critical housing crisis. I think it's also important to note that the previously approved voter bond funds that have helped increase our investment in affordable housing in California are essentially exhausted at this point. And that has been a critical piece of investment, which the loss of those funds on top of the loss of redevelopment has had a tremendous impact on our local government's ability to invest in affordable housing. We think this bond measure will help right that ship and help meet a critical need for our low-income clients. And for that reason, we would urge an aye vote.
Nicole Wurtelman on behalf of Habitat for Humanity California, also in support. We are very appreciative of Senator Bell's efforts and especially are interested in applying for the CalHome funding, which, as Brian mentioned, has been exhausted through 1C.
Additional speakers in support.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Christopher Castrillo on behalf of the City of Santa Monica in support.
Mr. Chairman, Paul Yoder on behalf of the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors and the City and County of San Francisco, and Mayor Edwin Lee in support.
Mr. Chair, Member Cesar Diaz on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council, also in support.
Karen Leggett, and I used to be on the Homeless Executive Board for the Homeless Consortium in our area, and this is well needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers in support? If not, speakers in opposition? Seeing none, Department of Finance.
Finance is opposed to this bill because it results in additional general fund costs. We estimate those costs would be approximately $169 million per year for a total cost of $5.75 billion over the life of the bond.
Thank you. Questions from members? Seeing none, this is a candidate for suspense. Thank you, Mr. Bell, for your presentation. We appreciate it.
Can I make one more statement?
You certainly may.
I just want to point out that when you look at the cost to the state, the Finance Department indicated, you also have to look at the taxes generated by the housing, because this is not like a parks bond or a public bond. It's a bond that invests in housing, which generates taxes, property taxes specifically. So with the property taxes, the proper way to look at it is sort of a net cost to the government, I think, rather than just looking at the total cost. So I think that's appropriate. Thank you.
Very good closing, and thank you for those good comments. Who's next? Oh, it's Mr. McGuire. You are next. Which bill is that? You have a couple of bills with us, a number of bills actually, one on consent, one on suspense, and you have SB 1030.
Yes, sir.
Which would you like to present on?
Just SB 1030, please.
Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and good morning, members. Hope everyone's doing well. SB 1030 is a district-specific bill that seeks to repeal the sunset clause that governs the continuation of the Sonoma County Regional Climate Protection Authority. Hot dang. Thank you so much. Here with me today is Keith Dunn from the Regional Climate Protection, or no, not Keith Dunn. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to offend you.
Hot dang.
Okay, there we go. Please, Mr. Yoder, go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman, members, Paul Yoder on behalf of the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors. Hot dang. In support of the bill.
That's very good. Well, you did well. You got a motion.
This is incredible.
So we're still looking for a second if anyone was interested. So
look
now,
at it.
now you have your second there.
Thank you.
Do you have any witnesses in support?
Obviously, Mr. Dunn is still at Starbucks, so it's good stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Witnesses in opposition? Did you want to speak?
Support.
You're in support?
Yeah, Gabrielle first on behalf of Sierra Club, California, in support.
Okay, thank you. Witnesses in opposition? Department of Finance.
Finance is neutral on this bill, as there will be no state costs, and it may assist the Sonoma County Transportation Authority in meeting their greenhouse gas emission reductions.
Questions from members? Mr. Bloom, do you have any questions?
He's bringing lattes over. See, there we
Okay.
go. Oh, there we go. Hey.
Mr. Dunn, you're almost missing your moment here.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The floor is yours. You have.
Thank you. I asked for your aye vote.
Thank you very much. There has been no questions from members, so this has a B roll, but we'll hold the action open until we get a number of members here so that they can check in, so that they can vote.
Be honored to have the support. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you
very much.
Mr. Hertzberg.
I'm ahead of Hernandez.
Well, you were here before he was. So.
Oh man, how lucky can you get? Yo, 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 yo. Wrap it up and charge it. That's my favorite phrase.
Mr. Hertzberg, you have so many bills
So
here.
many bills. 2 on consent, I am informed, 820 and 1221. 2 that are going to suspense, which will be quickly released, 1207 and 1349, I hope, Mr. Reyes. And I'm presenting on 954, briefly.
You do have another bill on consent.
I do?
974.
Oh, okay.
Just-
Good.
just trying
That's
to
good.
help
I
you
didn't
out
even know
here.
that.
So
What do
just
I
want
know?
to make
Thank
sure
you.
the record's complete.
Make sure the
So
record
the floor
is
is yours
complete.
on SB 954.
Okay, just very, very briefly. This is a measure dealing with prevailing wage. When someone who has been paid under prevailing wage, I've got an example here of their paycheck of how much their hourly rate is for a carpenter, and related trades for the general prevailing wage determination made by the Director of Industrialization. And basically what it does, it has the basic hourly wage, how much money is taken out of their wages, and I stress wages, for health care, health and welfare, how much for pension, how much for vacation and holiday, how much for training, and there's another category where money of their money after they've done the work that's taken out of their paycheck for what's called other payments. And those other payments include what's called industry advancement. And with respect to those industry advancement endeavors that are run by and controlled by the government, whether it's Department of Industrial Relations at the state, whether it's the United States Department of Labor, but there's a tremendously a complicated and detailed regulatory environment with what unions have to do under collective bargaining agreements with those dollars for industry advancement. The example I have here for the construction industry advancement fund for Southern California, it sets forth those funds in audited detail where money goes into scholarship funds and air quality and water quality and the like. When I talked to, thank you very much.
We have a motion and a second, Mr. Hertzberg.
Thank you. The final point, when I talked to the industry folks in the private sector that use this money that are wages from employees, their response to me was, when I asked them, what do you do with the money of the employees' wages, they said, and I slow down to say, wouldn't you like to know? I rest my case. Ask for an aye vote.
Thank you very much. You have witnesses in support?
I do.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Jeremy Smith here on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council. We're the sponsors of this legislation. Mr. Hertzberg did a very good job explaining the bill. Thank you for the motion in the second. I'll be very brief. I'll just simply say this is about making sure wages that workers earned go to them. And if they don't go to them because contractors are taking credit against paying that to provide a benefit, the workers have a say in how that money is spent and where it goes. There's a loophole in the Prevailing Wage Act that this bill closes to ensure that workers need to be able to be part of the conversation when it comes down to whether they're going to allow their money to go to these industry advancement funds. It does not do away with industry advancement funds. Contractors can still fund them out of their own profits. It just says if you're going to use worker wages to fund these funds, you need to bring them into the process to decide if that's going to happen and how the money is going to be spent. For those reasons, we urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Todd Blumstein for the Southern California Contractors Association, representing the employer side in this discussion. We believe this bill protects our master labor agreements and our collective bargaining agreements, and for that reason we support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Additional people wishing to speak in support? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Richard Markison here on behalf of Associated Builders and Contractors of San Diego, the Air Conditioning Trade Association, the American Fire Sprinkler Association, the Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors of California, the Western Electrical Contractors Association. We disagree with almost every aspect of the bill and the presentation. There is no loophole in existing law. If there is a loophole that was created by the sponsors of this measure when they passed SB 776 a couple of years ago, creating the so-called loophole, these are not wages. They have traditionally been contractor obligations that a couple of years ago were included into the prevailing wage calculation. There is no deduction from a worker paycheck. Contractors do have the option of contributing them to industry advancement if they choose, or they can be paid onto the pension or the wage. That does not make them a wage. This is another long-standing attempt to attack the non-signatory contractors and their associations because, quite frankly, the sponsors don't like any opinion other than their own about what constitutes industry advancement. We strongly oppose the measure and urge your no vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any others in opposition? Seeing none. Department of Finance?
No file.
Questions from members? Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Hertzberg. Would you like to close?
I disagree with the opposition. It's wages. It's wages. That's the law. It becomes wages the second someone performs work. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you very much. This has a B roll call. We'll be holding this the roll open as soon as all members check in. Chang is not voting on this. Mr. Hill, you're next.